Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this awesome modern beach mansion. If you enjoy this tutorial, all I ask is that you please hit that like button, as it really does help me and the channel out very much. And of course, if you do make it all the way to the end, if you build it, please share it with a friend. Sharing is caring. Isn't that right, people of the ocean? They say yes. I speak fish. I'm basically Aquaman. Without any further ado, let's get started. Before we begin, I can tell you that to make the modern beach mansion, we will require every single one of these materials that I have in my inventory and hotbar right now. So please do make sure that you have access to all of these. We will also require a 31 block area by a 36 block area, and preferably, ladies and gentlemen, although not necessary, you are going to be building this on the beach. So an area like this with a large sand area that is joined to a large water area would be really quite ideal. So please do make sure that you're actually going to be making this in the right spot as well. And you want to be making it so that it is hanging into the water if you can. So once you have all of your stuff, once you've figured out where you want to make it, we can begin. So we are going to start off. If you have made this grid in your world to plan out your build, we're going to be starting off from the front left hand corner of the grid. And on top of this, I'm going to place 2 pillar quartz block. 1, 2. I'm going to go right of this pillar quartz block by 5 using quartz slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm then going to place a pillar quartz block and connect it down to the ground. And better yet, I'm actually going to connect it as far down as it will go. Depending upon where you're building it, this might actually be quite a distance down, so we might even reserve this until later. But I want you guys to kind of get the idea here that we are connecting the pillar quartz blocks down into the actual water itself. And continuing on, we're going to take the pillar quartz block that is sideways now, and we want to go right by a further 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to place another pillar quartz block. Now, what is special about this one is we want to move inwards from this block by 1 using the quartz slabs. And then very trickily, we actually want to be able to place 3 quartz stairs coming inwards. So that'll be 1, 2, and 3. Now the first one's probably going to be upside down, but we can replace that nice and easily like that. And then we want to continue coming inwards by an additional 1 using quartz slabs. Then a pillar quartz block. And then we actually kind of want to come across back on ourselves a little bit by 5 using quartz slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to place another pillar quartz block. And then we'll move inwards by an additional 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then another pillar quartz block. This time we're going to place 1 on top of it. And going to the right this time, we're going to place 2 quartz stairs. So it'll look like 1 and 2. Then we're going to place a pillar quartz block like that. And then we're actually going to change things up a little bit. But what we will do is we will go behind this by placing a block of quartz. And then a pillar quartz block behind that. And that's about as far as we'll go. Okay. Next thing is I want you to place underneath these 2 stairs here, I want you to place a block of quartz. And I want you to extend that quartz forwards alongside the quartz slabs. And then I want you to, keeping a double row, place a row of quartz blocks that come along the inside of the quartz slabs to the pillar quartz block. And then they come alongside the row of pillar quartz block and quartz slabs that we had initially. So we'll end up with something that should look a little bit like this, which is a little bit weird at the moment. Now, we only want to come about as far as here because, very important, we want to have quartz slabs on the end of the quartz blocks, like this, if that makes sense. And then we want to take these 2 quartz slabs that are going right of this pillar quartz block, and we want to place 3 additional slabs. 1, 2, 3. And then a pillar quartz block. 5 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a pillar quartz block. We're now going to move inwards from the pillar quartz block by 7 using slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then a pillar quartz block. And we're going to go right with that pillar quartz block by 5 using slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a pillar quartz block. And then we actually want to go backwards from that pillar quartz block. And we want to place 3 quartz slabs going back. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to place a pillar quartz block, and then 5 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pillar quartz block. 5 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a pillar quartz block. And then 5 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pillar quartz block. 4 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a final pillar quartz block, like that. So all in all, what we should have so far, it should look a little bit like this, which, you know, is kind of like a weird shape, but honestly, this is kind of a weird build as well, so you're just going to have to bear with it, I'm afraid. So once you have got that taken care of, the next thing we want to do is make the large grey structure on the right of the plot. So we want to come to this point right here in your build. It's towards the front, you should be able to find it without too much trouble. Place a dark grey concrete on top of this block specifically, and then 1 inwards from it. Destroy the original. Place upon this block 10 more grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And move backwards from the 10th by 21. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We then want to connect this all the way down. It's actually, I have found in Bedrock Edition, easier to build upwards rather than down. You build at a much increased rate otherwise. So you want to connect it down to the quartz slabs area like this. Now, this entire side wants to be filled in. If you like, you can add windows to this point, but I assure you there's loads and loads and loads of windows around the house, so there's no real need to have any on this side. Plus, depending on how we are going to build it, we might have a large buildup of sand around this place, so I am opting to simply keep it grey. However, if you want to add some large glass windows, that is more than okay, and it will probably look good as well, but it will decrease the functionality of this particular point in the house. But hey ho, you guys will do exactly what you guys want to do. There we are. Now, once you have done that, I want you to take the top front of this large grey structure that we have made, and I want you to go to the left of it by 4. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want you to connect that 4th block all the way downwards. And I want you to connect it down all the way down to the bottom. So what I essentially want you to do is have a large area very much like this. Now, I want you to place a row of block of quartz in front of, to the right of the row of grey concrete that we just placed. And then place block of quartz in front of the row of block of quartz, so it is sticking out by a row. I want you to take the bottom of the block of quartz, place a quartz slab underneath it, and then extend the quartz slab to the right, and around, and across the build until it comes towards the back. So eventually, we will end up on the back of the build, and we are going to have it wrap around like this. We want to do a very similar thing up top here, except up top, and there's no reason, except up top, we're only going to take the very top of it. We're not going to add any additional quartz slabs, and we're going to have this wraparound. It's a pretty cool design feature. I really like how it ends up looking. So, just like that. I'm now going to give this thing a floor. So, I'm actually going to place rows of grey concrete coming backwards like this. I'm just extending the bottom of the front of the build backwards. So we have a nice floor like this. And this is going to help turn this shape into a large, basically just into an actual proper part of the house. I'm then going to extend this back corner here upwards. And I'm going to connect it to the back corner like this to form a solid shape. And then we want to also connect the corner forwards, like this. We're then going to fill the top of this in using glass, so glass block is pretty much essential unless you want to have a very weird pattern using paint. Like that. I'm then going to place a row of block of quartz inside of the back of this to the right. And I'm going to place quartz slab moving forwards in front of the row of block of quartz that we have, and then I'm going to place block of quartz in between the two rows of quartz slab that we had. So exactly like this, same thing that we have on the front pretty much. What we can then do is use either glass pane or glass block, but glass pane looks a little bit better, to fill in. It really is easier to build from bottom to top, to fill in those two gaps. So like this, and we'll be doing the same thing on the front also, except I'll probably do it from the inside, just like this, right from the bottom all the way up to the top, just like that. We will end up with something that looks exactly like this. Now, once you have done that, I am also going to recommend that you seal up the inside. If you want to access this particular room, this particular part of the house, then you're going to have to do it after the house has been built. So if you want to make like rooms and stuff in, if you want to open it up, you'll just have to do it once the house has been built, and once you are figuring out a floor plan and where to put certain rooms and, you know, all of that fun stuff, you'll have to figure it out in between all of that. But it is easier for us if we do just completely seal up this particular part of the house, just as I'm doing now with grey concrete, just like that. So now, it's even more peculiar, but that's exactly what we want to have, ladies and gentlemen. Now, once you have reached this point in particular, I want you to come back to the front of the build. Actually, back to where we very first started, which is here. And I want you to take the pillar quartz block that we placed when we very first started, and I want you to extend it back by 11 quartz slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just like that. And then I want you to place behind this 11th block, I want you to place a pillar quartz block. And connect it down to the ground if you like, depending on where you are, whether you're in the water or whatever. On top of that pillar quartz block, place another pillar quartz block. And behind that block, place a quartz slab. And I want you to extend that quartz slab backwards by an additional 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then place 4 pillar quartz block on top of that slab. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then extend that 4th block backwards by 5 using quartz slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're then going to place a pillar quartz block and extend it inwards by 2 using slabs. 1, 2. Place a pillar quartz block and then extend the pillar quartz backwards by 8 using slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then place a pillar quartz block. And then going left of that pillar quartz block, I want you to place 2 additional quartz slabs. 1, 2, followed by a pillar quartz block. And then I want you to place 17 quartz slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And that next block wants to be a pillar quartz block, which will connect all the way to the part of the build that we've just done. So you can see that we have a mighty large frame for the house so far, don't we? That's kind of massive. But that's exactly what we want to have so far. Okay, we'll add details to all of that later because that's really a later job. But what I do want to do from this point onwards, ladies and gents, is there's a water slide on the side of the house, which you might have noticed, you know, when building the house. Well, I actually want to get that completed somewhat. So the water slide is positioned between these 2 pillar quartz blocks that we have towards the front of the house. I'll give you a moment to find them if you need to. And the water slide's actually made out of grey concrete, and I want you to place a grey concrete on the insides of these pillar quartz block right here. And then I want you to systematically extend the grey concretes backwards, and then upwards, until eventually you have grey concrete that it's just simply going to be about 1 row higher than the frame of the house that we have just made. But do make sure, yeah, there we go, just about that. But do make sure that they are increasing together. They're increasing together in size together. They're both even like this. And then you'll notice that on the side of this particular part of the water slide, we're just going to fill this in using grey concrete like this. And we want to do the same on the opposite side as well. So both sides, you know, both sides of the slide are the same, like that. And I might even add an additional row of grey concrete just here at the bottom like this, just to make it a solid shape, because it is annoying me for some reason. And then I'm also going to add some quartz stairs inside of the water slide, kind of like this, just here, which will allow the water to flow down properly, just like that. So if we have it just on the inside so that there's a row above these stairs, pretty much everywhere, then the water should flow freely, I hope. So something like that should look perfectly cool. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks pretty decent. What you might also want to do really is connect the quartz stairs downwards, and we're actually going to connect them down as into the ocean. So I'm actually going to just connect the quartz stairs downwards using quartz blocks just like that directly into the ocean. And you might want to do a similar deal actually perhaps with the grey concrete. So just kind of like separating the house and the ocean, because there's also going to be a bottom to the pool, you see. We're not going to have like a bottomless ocean pool or anything like that. We're going to add a glass bottom to it like that. And yeah, we just want to have something which should look a little bit like that, you know, it's built directly into the ocean, or however far down you have to go, you know. We can connect that down as well. The rest of the part of this, you know, is significantly easier, especially for me, because there's not too, don't have to go too far down with it, but we will end up with something that should look exactly like this. Now, once you have got that complete, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to work on the structure of the house just a little bit. And this is actually going to be a difficult part for me to do, but I'm sure that we will manage it. So, earlier, you may remember that we created a path. And at the end of the path, we placed these blocks. Pillar quartz block, block of quartz, pillar quartz block. I want you to go right of that pillar quartz block by 2 using quartz slabs. 1, 2. And then place a pillar quartz block, 5 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pillar quartz block. 5 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a pillar quartz block shall join to the opposite side of the house. Crazy how these things work. I want you to take the last 3 pillar quartz blocks and I want you to place 4 additional blocks on top of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one too. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to connect all of them together using quartz slabs like this. Just in between the tops of them, quartz slabs, all 3 of them. I don't know where I'm going from there. There we go. I do know actually, because once you have connected them together like that, I want you to take this left one and I want you to place a row of 6 quartz slabs going left of it. So that'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lines up with the water slide, by the way. I then want you to place behind that 6th block 4 additional slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on top of the 4th slab, I actually want you to place 4 pillar quartz block. Or 3, I should say. 3 pillar quartz block. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. It's very, very important. There we are. And what I then want you to do is underneath's a bad word. Next to the quartz slab that has all the pillar quartz on it, I want you to place a row of birchwood planks that continues all the way to the right like this and creates a very solid section that now has to be filled in using birchwood planks. So you can see that we are creating the balcony area right here. We're going to be placing birchwood planks in all of this, just like that. Now, once you have got that taken care of, what I then want you to do is return back to this original pillar of pillar quartz block, and I want you to leave a gap of 2 going right of it, and then place an additional row of 3 pillar quartz blocks. So you'd leave in a gap of 2, 1, 2, 3. And then a gap of 2, 1, 2, 3. Leaving a gap of 1 this time, and then you're placing 3 block of quartz. So that's like 1, 2, 3. And then leave a gap of 1, and then 1, 2, 3. Gap of 1, 3 pillar quartz. 1, 2, 3. Gap of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 3 more pillar quartz. 1, 2, 3. So what you will end up with should look exactly like this. And I know that it does look a little bit weird, by the way. You know, they're not all evenly spaced and all that. But that's exactly what we're really looking for, to be honest. Okay, now that that's done, I want you to come behind what you've made. And now I want you to do something that is kind of interesting here, okay? So, where you have certain pillar quartz blocks, we want to have those certain pillar quartz blocks follow through and down towards the ground. So this end one, for instance, this first one, wants to follow through and come down to the ground. Just like this. And as far as the ground is, however far down, it goes that far. And then we want to have, I want to make sure that this is correct, by the way, we want to skip this one. But the next one we want to also have coming all the way down to the ground. As far as that might be. Oh, I'm really happy that I don't have to build that far into the ocean. That's actually really, really good. I'm quite happy about that. There we go. And then the next one also wants to come down to the ground. So this one right here also down to the sand as well. Just like this. It's actually this block, isn't it, that's in the water. Wants to come and meet it. And then we now want to extend the end block down as well. The end pillar quartz block shall come all the way down to the ground, wherever that might be. Like this. So we have this sort of effect right here, and you know, from the inside you can kind of tell how that's going. Now what's interesting about this is I now want you to use your block of quartz, and I want you to create a pathway. So from the pillar quartz block and the stairs here, I want you to fill just behind these stairs in with block of quartz, and then place block of quartz coming backwards, just a couple of rows inside the house like this, and I want you to form a solid floor using your block of quartz. This will absolutely make the next few parts easier, because we'll actually, you can kind of see from here where the actual inside of the house is going to be, which can be quite valuable, especially when we're at this point in the build where the house hasn't exactly materialized itself that well yet. But we are slowly getting there, ladies and gentlemen, whether you can see it or not, don't you worry, I am guiding you to a nice completed house. So the end result of this should look exactly like that. So the next thing I actually want to do is I want to fill in the underneath area a little bit. The middle part is quite easy underneath. It's basically just a row of birchwood planks here connecting the pillars together at the bottom in the middle. We extend those birchwood planks upwards, connect them together at the top like this, and then fill the center in using glass pane, like that. The area just to the left is going to be filled in on the inside, and it's a very, very simple pattern here. It's basically just like the letter N, or like an upside down U here, just like one row inside of the frame like this, and then we fill in the center of it using glass pane like that. And that just looks rather nice faded into the back, and it creates nice levels of depth, which is very, very important, especially in these kinds of builds. Now, the area here on the right is the entrance. So basically, the entrance is going to be right here, like if you can imagine it, this grey concrete, that's where the door's going to be, yeah? Left of the door, I'm going to place pillar quartz block, quartz slab on top, connect to the right. And then I want to have behind the door, I'm going to have birchwood planks here behind the pillar quartz block, behind the quartz slabs like this, connecting to the wall. And then I'm going to also have just here on the right as well, I'm going to have birchwood planks here, extending upwards inside the frame, leaving a double block space in the middle, which will be filled in using blue stained glass pane. And that was just for visualization, of course. There you go, can destroy those, and that is basically like the door, just like that. You see, that's pretty good, right? That doesn't look too bad. Well, once we've done that, I think that we're going to move up a little bit now, right? So up here on the second level, can you remember where we placed the birchwood planks? Well, I want you to extend the planks backwards a couple of rows. Just like this, just a few rows. Like 5. So let's say that's 2, then this would be 3, 4, and then let's make that 5. That's just about enough, I think. You could even actually, you know what, I'm actually being a bit conservative, but what you could do here, and what I am going to do, is I'm going to fill in the entire second floor. That sounded a bit too dramatic, didn't it? The entire second floor with birchwood planks, okay? So I'm actually going to make a solid second floor right here, okay? And just completely fill in within the lines with birchwood planks. I didn't realize that we actually had the balcony made. The balcony's at the back of the house. There's a large balcony on the back of the house, which can be used for a few various reasons, actually. Like whether you want to kind of like turn one of the back rooms into a secret room. There's quite a few ways in which you can utilize the balcony. But also, it's just kind of like a cool little design feature. It just looks nice, pretty much. But yeah, completely filling the floor using birchwood planks. The ground floor is primarily really quartz blocks, and we'll end up with something that should look exactly like this. See, that's looking pretty good. And you know what? I'm coming to the realization you could actually even fill in the ground floor as well. All you've got to do is extend all of the pillar quartz blocks downwards. So wherever you have pillar quartz blocks around the outside the house, so like for instance around the water slide and just like around the balcony and blah blah blah, wherever you find them, so like there and here, if you extend them all down to the ground, you kind of have a good idea where the house ends, don't you? Because if that's as far as the pillar quartz blocks go, and that they're kind of like following a shape, then you can kind of easily build within the lines of the pillar quartz blocks, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. And we already know where the floor is horizontal, like vertically. It's just like where it is for the rest of it. So for instance, once all of these have been placed, you can kind of like plan out where the floor is going to be using your block of quartz, and it's just going to sit nicely inside of the pillar quartz block frame. So pretty much just inside here, right, where it's not going to go outside of it. So you can kind of just, you know, connect it together in a shape. You could even extend it like underneath the slide and what have you. And perhaps that is what you would do if you wanted the hassle. I do not. So I'm just going to probably just sit on top of the quartz frame like this. And these are where the walls are going to be. Now this might seem a little bit strange, but you haven't seen the back of the house yet. So the walls are going to look like this, right? They're very vague because, and I'm going to fill in the floor now. The back part of the house is mostly sand. The back part of the house has a balcony resting upon a large a buildup of sand. It looks really cool, and it does kind of make it so that the back lower part of the house, the part that's covered in by sand, it does make it so that it's kind of up for interpretation. Meaning you don't have to, you could add more sand to add perhaps like a secret room to the house, or you could add more sand so that you can hollow it out and just have a larger house in general. You don't even have to do anything clever with it if you don't want to. But you can see how we're kind of just sitting inside the pillar quartz block frame like this, and that is going to allow us to place the ground floor, which is just a nice thing to have. I want the floors planned out for you, and I want the walls planned out for you as well, so that when it comes to making the inside of the house, you know what you're doing. Okay, so once that has all been done, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to add some detail to the second floor of the house, where we have all of our pillar quartz rows. All right, so we're going to start on the left here. This area is empty. This next area, that was anticlimactic. This next area here, we want to, inside of the frame, have birchwood plank blocks like this to the right, and glass to the left like this. As we move over, we want to have inside this empty space here just a vertical row of glass like this. These two middle rows are a door, and they're actually going to look a bit different. I'm going to destroy the top block of quartz, and I'm going to place behind them quartz slabs. So I'm going to place quartz slabs on the top, connect them in the middle. To the right of this, I'm going to have blue stained glass pane, like this, just inside this gap. And then here on the right, I'm going to have a row of birchwood planks coming inwards from each corner, just sat inside of the frame, and then connected together at the top, and then filled in using glass pane, like this. Just like that. And then behind this, I'm going to place birchwood planks behind the pillar quartz block, here. Probably place some block of quartz behind the door as well, like this. And I might have, say, birchwood planks just above the door like that, just to kind of connect things together. And then here on the right, I'm going to place birchwood planks behind this pillar quartz block here. I don't think I'm going to have anything placed behind here. I think that I'm going to leave that blank. And I'm going to place 4 more rows of birchwood planks behind this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to place the birchwood planks behind this row. Followed by an additional row of pillar quartz block. And then 2 more rows of birchwood planks coming across. 1, 2, as high as the pillar quartz block. Then I'm going to place another row of pillar quartz block like this. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the pillar quartz block here, and I'm going to extend it backwards from the top using 5 quartz slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to place a pillar quartz block, connect it down to the ground like so. I'm going to fill the inside of this in using birchwood planks. We'll fill in the walls and stuff as we go, just like this, coming all the way up to the top, I think. And then coming across the back of the build, this is where things get a little bit interesting again. We are going to take the top pillar quartz block and place 5 quartz slab going left of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pillar quartz block. 5 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pillar quartz block. 5 more slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a pillar quartz block. Gonna connect the pillar quartz blocks down to the ground like this. Just like that. Destroy that. Place that there, there, and there. Just like this. And then we're going to fill the insides of these in using the birchwood plank blocks. So we're just going to go, just create a nice solid wall behind all of this. Just using birchwood planks like that. And now you can see that we have kind of nicely planned out where we have, where the second floor is and all of the fun stuff like that. So, the next thing that I think that we are going to be doing, what is it that we want to do exactly? Okay, so the next thing is quite simple. I want you to grab your quartz slab and work your way to this point in the build, where we have this row of 3 pillar quartz block. Take the top of the pillar quartz blocks and place 4 quartz slabs in front. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then extend the quartz slabs all the way over to the right. They'll connect to the opposite side of the build. I also want you to take that pillar quartz block and extend it backwards using quartz slabs like that, and it will connect to the back part of the build. And if we continue going back, we can take this sideways pillar quartz block right here, and we can place 3 quartz slabs coming out of the back of it. 1, 2, 3, and then we can extend that, coming backwards as well, or to the left I should say, like that, to give us this effect. And that will give us something which should look exactly like that, alright? Now, once you have done that, we actually want to do a very similar thing, leaving just... What we essentially want to do, right, is we want to place a row of grey concrete that sits above and inside of the shape that we have made. Meaning, it basically follows the exact same shape as all of the quartz slabs that we just placed, except it sits 1 row above and 1 row inside, and it'll give a pretty cool effect once we have done what we want to it. And it wants to connect front to back as well, just here on the side, by the way, and it'll end up looking a little something like that, alright? You see, that's pretty easy to do. And I also want to divide this shape, by the way, before we start filling things in and what have you. I want to divide this shape. You can see where we have all of the pillar quartz blocks on the front of the build. I actually want you to place a grey concrete on top of all of them, and then extend them left and right. So I actually want you to create... It's basically just kind of like a sunroof sort of thing for the balcony, you know? It's just going to let a nice little bit of light in, like that. But what I do want you to do also is I want you to place quartz slabs around the top of the grey concrete, like this. So parallel to the original row of quartz slabs, it's just half a row higher is the only difference. I want you to place it going all the way around. But once you have placed it all the way around, I then want you to place another row on the outside of it. So we're doubling up on it. This creates an additional level of depth. Depth is something very important with modern houses. It's a difference between a really boring cube and something that's got a, well, depth to it, as you can see. So we want to have something which should look exactly like this. You could even have the same sort of setup on the back part of the house if you wanted, although I really wouldn't recommend it at all. So what we're going to do, I'm probably going to fill as far as the... yeah, I'm going to fill the back part in. I'm going to fill 2 rows of light grey in just to come to the frame. So I kind of want to have something which should look like that. Alright, or maybe I'll add just another row of grey, like this. It's about making it even, you see, so something like that. And then I'm going to place a row of birchwood planks around in top of the roof, like that, just in the top. Maybe I needed to add an additional row. Actually, you know what? You know what would actually balance this? Is if we add a row of grey concrete here on the left, and also a row of grey concrete here on the right. This would actually balance things a little bit, like that. And then we can place birchwood planks inside of the roof, like this. Just slowly shrinking it. The reason that I didn't want to place birchwood planks on the next layer is because the next layer after this, actually that would have worked, actually, never mind. But I then want to place, I think, quartz slabs around the top of the birchwood planks coming inwards like this. We're going to place some quartz slabs like this, just making a nice big sunroof for the second part of the house. A lot of this house is nice and lit up, and I figure if you're going to have a beach house, you're going to want to enjoy the sun, right? Of course you are. So now we have 2 very clear areas to fill in. We have the area at the top of the house, which I'm going to fill in with glass block like this, and the glass block, and I like the effect by the way, is going to sit half a row upwards in relation to the quartz slab. You could even have it sit inside of the house, although that's not an aesthetic that I like as much, so something like that. And I'm also, you can either fill this in or just simply leave it empty, but I'm going to fill this in using some glass block as well, so it'll end up looking a little something like that. And you can see this house now is actually being put together quite nicely, isn't it? It's not too far off, really. So whilst we are building around the house, alright, what I think I'm going to do now is around the top of the house, wherever you see a sideways or even a regular pillar quartz block, I want you to make it stick upwards by a row. So wherever you find them, you'll find them all over the place on the second floor of the house. I want you to stick them upwards like this. Do we have, even on the balcony? Nah, not on the balcony. We're not doing it on the front balcony, but we will do it on the back balcony. We're going to make them stick all upwards like this. And we're going to connect them all together using blue stain glass pane. So we're actually on top of the quartz slabs, we're going to connect them all together using the blue stain glass pane. This is around the water slide like this, and we'll even be doing it, by the way, you know, once you get to the water slide, we'll even do it on the front balcony, just like that. I noticed we're missing a hole. We've got a missing brick out of the wall over there. You know, something like that. Looks really, really cool. And I just want to solve this brick problem whilst I see it. There we are. That's looking pretty nice. And once you have done that, another thing that I actually want to do to the house, which I think is kind of cool, hanging over the water slide area, so basically from this pillar quartz block to this pillar quartz block, I want to have like a nice red and white overhang. And it's very easy to make. I mean, dump the glass, grab the red. Where we have this pillar quartz block here, or this quartz slab even, I'm going to destroy these quartz slabs to the grey concrete, replace them with red. Here and here, destroy the quartz slabs, replace them with red concrete like this. And then we're going to leave a gap of 1 and destroy another row coming in towards the middle on both sides, like that. So you've got this sort of pattern right here, very beachy pattern. And extend the red concretes outwards until you are happy with them. They can overhang the side of the house by 1 row, or they can simply just kind of cover up the water slide, which is kind of what I've got going on here. And then I'm just going to fill in between these using quartz slabs. Just at the top, I'm just filling in the top of the red concretes using quartz slabs like this, because I just like the effect that it gives, quite honestly. So we've got a nice little overhang. You can extend that forwards or backwards a little bit, but I really do think it kind of adds a little something to the house. And the house is quite complicated, I've just noticed. I actually didn't realise how complicated this house is until we kind of got to this point right here. So once you have reached this point right here, well, gosh, what can we do next? Well, I'll tell you what we can do is we can grab our birch wood planks and we have to fill in all of this area here. So on the right side, I'll lay it out for you. You want to fill in the floor using birchwood planks. So you can be a bit neater than I'm about to be using your birchwood planks, but we actually want to have a walkable surface. That's very important. A walkable surface. So like here, and we're going to want to have birchwood planks here. Actually, well, in certain spaces, like where we're placing birchwood planks, I did kind of plan to place pillar quartz blocks connecting down into the water, but it's not a big deal, really. I mean, you could do, but it's just not a big deal at all. The ones towards the front, I think, are much more a problem than the ones that are on the side. But like this pillar quartz block, for instance, like this could easily be connected down into the water. And the problem with connecting it down into the water, by the way, is depending on where you are. I mean, this is really, like, this is where the ocean just starts. That's really deep, like, already. So, like, there, you know, that's already deep. But, like, that's the corner of the house, so it's kind of like an important one. As is this, really, like, where we have this pillar quartz block. So, like, I want to connect this one down as well. The house doesn't make too much sense other than well, I mean, it could be floating on the water, you know, but I kind of like the structure of the quartz beams like this, and the outer ones as well are quite important too. This is something to do whilst you are filling in the birchwood plank blocks. So let's get this done. Okay, so they're all the bad ones done that we have there. Oh, we do also have the starting one too. That's also going to be a bad one, but they really do kind of add to the structure of the house as I'm looking at it. I know that we have some on the right too, but I mean, they do kind of add to it. Like, if you have a look, like, isn't that kind of cool that they go all the way down into the ocean? I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of do like it quite a bit. Like, we do have some ones that aren't as bad here on the right too, so don't forget to do these ones also. So once you've finished that job in particular, it should look a little something like this if you have built them on the ocean. But the main job, the first job that we were doing until I kind of got distracted a little bit, was just placing some birchwood planks inside this entire area. This is an area that you can decorate with all sorts of stuff. Like, you can put like a tiki bar here, you can add like a boat to the little sort of dock area that I have. You can add all sorts of stuff, like a big garden. You could add like a fishing post, and you know, all sort of stuff like that. You know, that's what this large outdoor area is for. In the original version of this, when I designed it, I had a nice tiki bar, I had some tiki torches, I had a boat, I had a little bit of a garden as well. It looked really cool. So, you know, you can do something similar if you like, or, you know, you can just, you know, figure it out for yourself. You're more than welcome to do that, absolutely. So you can see that that area now has been filled in using birchwood planks. So what of this area that we have here, right? So this is a large pool area. And I'm noticing that really I should probably connect this down into the ocean as well. So you've got two options with this pool area as I finish. Oh no, it goes so far down. All the way down to here. Wonderful. Destroy the seagrass. So the pool area, I designed it to only be, I designed it so that you could actually like kind of see the ocean a little bit inside of it, and the way that I wanted to accomplish this is through the use of glass. So, meaning like this, and I've just got to kind of... I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, you know, I've got a lot of green concrete and stuff around the build. Let me clear it up so that I don't have to keep destroying it in between instructions. Okay, so that's all of the outer concrete cleaned up. So, what I was trying to get at was this area here. The way that you can kind of like suss it out is by placing some blue glass inside the quartz slabs of the pool at the top, right? So if you place some blue glass inside of the pool at the top, very similar to what I'm doing, so just like kind of like on the inside of the slabs like this, right? Leading from basically the water slide entrance all the way to where you would leave. And by the way, a little bit of blue stained glass pane wouldn't go amiss around this. So, you know, place some blue stained glass pane kind of like going around the edge of the pool here, just like this. Whether or not you want to raise up the pillar quartz blocks are kind of up to you, whether or not you kind of want to raise up the corners or just leave it as is. But once you've got the blue glass kind of like placed, you can extend it downwards into the ocean like this. Probably about 2 rows, I would say. I'd say, yeah, probably about 2 rows or so. Just so that it sits underneath the actual water of the ocean. And then you can just fill it with water afterwards. And will it be a different colour to the ocean? I do wonder. Probably. Well, the ocean's kind of like a deeper blue, and I'm hoping that the water will come out, and I don't know how to make it come out a different colour, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that a lot of you do out there, you know. Sometimes water looks more light blue than it does dark blue. I don't know whether that has something to do with the lighting or how much of it there is. But if you extend the glass downwards, and even like underneath this part too, just like extend the glass downwards, and then all you have to do, and this is the annoying part, just fill underneath it in using glass as well. So you know, you can go as far down as you like. You could make a really deep pool underneath the waterfall area if you liked. You could have a really deep pool, but that depends whether you want that. Do you want that? If so, make a really deep pool. It could go down to the floor. Just make sure that it's contained. Make sure you're not going to be getting any fish or anything in here. You know, it didn't used to be that much of a problem, but now there's fish all over the place. So you know, you're going to want to fill it in with glass like that, and the end result of which will look like that. And that's still quite a deep pool. And all we're going to do here is we're just going to grab a water bucket, and we're just going to fill this in. So, you know, you just add a bit of water in the bottom here, just like this. I mean, it kind of is a different colour, right, from the ocean? Am I right? I don't know. Kind of does look a little bit. Probably not though. You know, when it gets when the glass is touching it and stuff, it's not gonna look like how I would prefer for it to look. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it contrasts or not. And I'm going to make the water as high as the glass at the very least. Just coming up to these stairs. And it'll just make a nice little pool, pretty much. It'll just make a nice, cool little pool, just like that. I don't think it's flowing anywhere, just like that. That's exactly what you're after right there. Now, what are we going to do with the rest of the area that we have on the front here? So the only little detail that I want to tweak on the front here is I just want to add it just looks a little bit nicer, right? I want to add oak fence, grass blocks, stone slabs, and I've come to enjoy rose bushes. Such a weird phrase. I'm going to place oak fence just in between all of these pillars that we have towards the front of the house, like where the entrance and stuff is, like that. It contrasts well against the birch. I'm going to place a strip of grass block just in front of all this, and I might even knock that end block off. And I'm going to place stone slabs around the grass, like that. I'm then going to place rose bushes on top of the grass. That didn't go very well at all. I expected those to be placed faster. And not only does that add a splash of colour, which is consistent with the colour of the overhang, but, you know, it just looks a little bit better. It covers a little bit up. I really like that. So, you know, we've got kind of like a nice big empty open canvas right now for the house, you know. We've actually completed most of the house, believe it or not. I can't believe that we've actually reached this part so quickly. But what I'm going to do now, and this is the tedious part, ladies and gents, sandstone, sand, maybe some various other blocks if you like, cactuses and stuff, maybe some bushes. Around the back of the house, specifically on the very back and the left side of the house, around the water slide and stuff, we are going to use sandstone to plan out where we are going to build up the area on the side of the house. So I want to cover up all of this empty space here using a mixture of sand and sandstone and what other materials you see fit. I'm going to give you an example of this. This takes a while to do, so I'm not going to be doing all of it in one go. We want to build up layers and layers and layers very naturally of sand like this, kind of how I've already started. Sandstone coming up because sand just falls straight to the ground. It is such a nightmare to do this with just sand alone. So you're going to want to place like sandstone like this, and then maybe place a bit of sand on top is the easiest way. So like you got your sandstone and then dot some sand around it, and you can see why it'd be a pain, right? Just to use sand, it'd actually be a nightmare. So, you know, a little bit of sand like that around the area, just like that, dotted around, maybe some cacti, maybe some flowers and stuff, whatever. But we want to build up layers and layers of sand up the side of the house. I mean, maybe you want to make like, however you want to do this, it's no problem, you know. I'll show you what it looks like once it's finished, but sand all the way up the side like this. And obviously, I mean, then it might actually not be such a pain to place the sand. Like maybe then it'd even look a bit more natural if you like place like a wall of chiseled sandstone like that, or sandstone block, or whatever it is, and then you like just built up the surrounding area like that. And that's it. That's exactly what I want you to do, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't have to come directly as high as the house, but it certainly has to cover up a lot of the imperfections like that. So like it's that versus the frame of the house. And that is what I'm going to be doing next, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to do this on recording though, because it's going to take quite a while. We've got to fill in all of this gap. If you don't want to, you can add walls to the house yourself, but I like the idea of this being built into like a big sand dune. You know, I think that that's kind of cool. And once I've done that, we'll actually be done with the house. So I'll show you what it looks like, and then I guess we're done. So I have went with something like this. It's mainly built out of sandstone rather than just sand, and it's just a large amount of sand just piled on top of each other, looking very, very natural, really, just like sand would spawn in your worlds. And it's just built up around the outside of the modern beach mansion, and it comes up about as high as the balcony, which is really cool. I think it really just kind of like set the scene with the balcony, and I don't know, I think it just goes together really, really nicely. And once you have done that, you'll actually be left with a really impressive modern beach mansion. I do hope that you guys have managed to make this right now. This is actually awesome. I haven't made it in like an actual proper survival world, so this is really cool to see out in the environment. And now that we have got to the end of the tutorial, the only thing I want to do, I love doing this, I love saving it until last, we have to water the waterfall. Hello, rabbit. I'm glad that you're here for the grand opening. So water here, here, and here, and it'll all flow down nicely into the pool. That is so satisfying. It's one of my favorite things about Minecraft, is to do stuff like that. It's so weird, but I love it. I do hope that this tutorial has been useful to you in some way, ladies and gentlemen. If you have enjoyed this, please do remember to hit that like button. That'd make me and Flopsy Wopsy very, very happy. Please hit that like button if you have enjoyed this tutorial. And of course, please share the video with a friend if you have made it to this point in the video. Sharing is caring, isn't that right, Flopsy? Of course it is. You even see, sharing is caring. I share the water slide, you guys share the video. That's a nice little compromise. If you would like to subscribe to the channel so that you can check out what's coming in the future, I would highly recommend that, and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And of course, last thing, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to check out anything else by me, check out the card system and the description below. I've got loads and loads of different mansions, loads and loads of different builds, city builds, suburban builds, modern builds, all sorts of stuff. Check that out, card system and description below. That's up there and down there. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Say goodbye to Flopsy Wopsy. Goodbye. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. I wanted to fall into the ocean. It's more dramatic.